care of here lately. So yesterday, he's told me, he said, can you do the show tomorrow? I'll get a hold of Buzz, see if Buzz Frank wants to come in. And Buzz, welcome to the show again.
Well, thank you, Tony. It's always good to be here with you, brother.
Well, it's time of the year when sports is not the biggest thing. I know Matt over there, a huge World Cup fan. That's the biggest story going on, Major League Baseball. A lot of tidbits and a lot of other things to talk about. So if you want to call in on the M&M Cartage hotline. That's 502-384-1450. If you want to text in, did I do that? Is that right, Matt?
Yep.
384. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't get them confused. I wrote it down. Gameday Men's Health text hotline is 502-414-1450. Gameday Men's Health is refining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GamedayMensHealth.com. Defining a new era in men's health. And Buzz, beautiful weather outside. Too bad there's no sports going on. Well, the bats are here in town. But just some things that I hate starting with this today because there's so many things. But I really got kind of consumed last night when I was doing some homework on this Brandon Sorsby thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really want to talk about Brandon Sorsby. We've talked way too much about his gambling addiction, his problems at Cincinnati, and then betting at Indiana and all those things. But he is going to enter the supplemental draft of 2026.
I think this is a desperation move on his. I know he got the judge to give him that stay or whatever it was where he only had to sit out two games, the injunction. But I think he realizes that his college career is over and that this is his one chance to maybe get picked up where there's no real competition. I mean, there's probably not going to be any other players in the supplemental draft, and this gives him a chance to showcase and maybe go ahead. But I think the whole reason he wanted to play one more year at Texas Tech was because he knew he wasn't going to be a high draft pick anytime in the NFL. Yeah,
and when the Big Ten decided to sue Texas Tech, I think the writing kind of came on the wall. So I'm kind of curious. I wrote down what the supplemental draft is because I don't think most people – I didn't know what the supplemental draft was.
I didn't either until I heard it this morning.
Yeah, so first of all, do teams want a guy that was gambling in college? Now, I know everybody needs a second chance.
Right.
I know I've made mistakes in my life. You've made them. Matt's made them.
Absolutely.
Matt might not have. But there's a second chance in everything.
Yes.
But there are rules in certain things that you just don't break. And I think Brandon Sorsby, a lot of teams aren't going to want to take a chance because of the media, because of everything else. Here's what the supplemental draft is. They haven't had a supplemental draft since 2023. No one has been selected in a supplemental draft since 2019. That's when the Cardinals took safety Jalen Anderson. He was a fifth-round bid. Keyword there, bid. I will get to that. Last quarterback was Terrell Pryor, a third-round bid in 2011 by the Raiders. The league still needs to approve Sorsby's request later this summer. So it's not for sure the NFL is going to do the supplemental draft. But here, so he made over $90,000 in wagers in college.
Yeah.
And he was expected to make $5 million this year before all this went down. So he's put himself in a corner. But all right. First of all, do you think Texas Tech did their homework before they decided they were going to spend $5 million?
I think they probably felt like there was a judge somewhere in their back pocket that they could get to file an injunction and get him to play. But I think that with this, gambling has become such a, it's a push-pull kind of thing. And we know the DraftKings and the other sites that really promote this, and it's everywhere, and it's legal pretty much everywhere now, but it's still different when you're a player betting on your own game. I mean, Pete Rose he's barred from the Hall of Fame for gambling. I'm old enough to remember when Paul Hornung and Alex Karras were suspended for a year from the NFL way back in time because they gambled. And even though it was gambling on your own team, you're gambling on something that you just shouldn't be doing. And I think that's going to be a stigma with Sorsby for a long time.
Yeah, the integrity of the game, now that gambling is legal, teams are in Las Vegas, all those good things.
Right.
There's just so many variables. But, okay, I'm going to explain this, and hopefully this works out and everybody can understand exactly how they draft in the supplemental draft. Okay, the Raiders this year are the first pick in the draft, so this is hypothetical. They would get 32 balls. Seattle, who won the Super Bowl, would get 1 ball. So basically 32, 31, all the way down. There are 3 points in this lottery. It says one is how to determine the order of all teams that have won 6 or more games. So they take all the teams, they start with the ones at the bottom that haven't, and then they get to 6 teams, and then they basically try to figure this out. And it says, and then the next thing is games won by teams with more than 6 wins that didn't make the playoffs. So, all right, if you're staying with me now, you're doing great. And the rest of it will be determined by the playoff team. So basically there's a way they're trying to break it down. So now if Buzz and I are drafting and we both want Brendan Sorsby, and you have to put in what round you think you want. You go to the 3rd round, I go to the 4th round.
Okay.
So you would get, because you're a higher one, if you put in for it in the 3rd round, you would get it. Now, next year in the 2027 draft, that pick, if you have you can't take it if you don't have a pick in that round. Yep. You will not get that 3rd round pick. Brendan Sorsby, because if he was in the supplemental draft and he was taken, would be your pick in the 3rd round, and you would get him before I would. So basically that's what's going on. If teams bid on the guy, the round they bid him, but they think he's worth, then if they get him, they lose that pick in the 2027 draft.
So basically, if I'm a head coach and or a GM, I've got to look at do I need a quarterback so badly that I'll risk having a pick 3rd, 4th, 5th round, whatever, even 1st round in the next draft where I maybe fill in another need like a linebacker or a left tackle or something like that. So you got to balance all of that. It's not just my need for a quarterback right now, but what am I going to need? I know it's a season away and injuries and things like that, trades happen, but you've got to balance where that pick is and how risky is it going to be. I can't see anybody going above a 5th round.
No, I can't either. And even if they really need a quarterback, they think he will fit. There's just so many variables. But let's say you got him.
Yeah.
And whatever pick that was, the 90th pick, let's just say.
Sure.
That money is slated from the last draft. So if the guy that got that pick and that's how they slate that. Now, here's some notable names that have been in the supplementary draft. 2012, Josh Gordon, the Browns.
He had a pretty good career.
He had a pretty good career, and he had some issues too.
Yeah, I was just going to say it goes along with Sorsby. There were issues that derailed Josh Gordon's career.
Yep.
And so again, you got to be careful.
Yep. In 1987, those were the 2 big ones. Brian Bosworth to Seattle, the Boz who promoted himself and was just all over everything, and Chris Carter, the old Eagle Viking. They were both supplemental picks in 1987. So, and another Brown, one of your guys back here in 1985, Bernie Kosar. By the Browns. So
we also have Ed on the line. He wants to tune in.
Bring it. Let's bring Ed. We got a bunch of old guys talking. So come on in, Ed.
Yeah, is this old guys' day?
Yeah, it is. It's old timers game. What's up?
Old guys' day. The thing that comes to mind as far as the Brandon Sorsby situation is a couple things that stand out. Number one, I think they need to make a example of this fellow, and that's unfortunate that he's the example, but that's just the way it is. He did it himself. He was making $90,000 a year at Texas Tech, and if that's not enough, well, then so be it. Now, here's the thing. These players nowadays, they're so entitled and so spoiled, they want their cake, and they want to eat it too. They want the extra icing. And what I mean by that is making $90,000 or $110 or $5.2 million or whatever, it's just not enough. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I don't understand, and I understand why money is important in a person's life. I understand that. But 90,000 I would have been jumping up and down to get 90,000
Well,
in college football. Now he wants to go out and bet tons of money on college games.
He bet the 90,000. That's what he bet.
Probably lost more than he won, thinking that I'm going to take that 90,000. I'm going to make it 1.5 million. Don't work that way.
Well,
Gentlemen, it doesn't work that way. And these college athletes nowadays, and don't get me wrong, I'm old, and I've said this a million times, Buzz and Tony, I'll say it again. I'm old school, and the NCAA has completely, they just thrown up their arms and says, okay, we can have a gambling place in Las Vegas that you can bet on college games, and players can come in and bet on their own games. And I know they can't, but the NCAA has done nothing to make the situation even worse.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things that go there. They monitor these gambling, like DraftKings and all those. They are with these, even the NCAA. They are trying to make sure that they can keep the game, from really getting out of hand. People, the integrity of the game. So that's one of. But the other part, Ed, and I agree with a lot you say. But when the market is what the market is, you're a writer. You get X amount of money. Back in the day when you were working full time, somebody comes in and tells you you're going to make 5 times what you are. You're going to go. The problem is you're not going to be gambling, but the marketplace for how much money these guys are making, it's just made it so out of control, in my opinion, that especially the NCAA, they're never going to be able to rein this in.
No.
And but Ed, I got a question for you. We'll get you off your old guy horse here. What about your Reds last night, man? 12-0. Chase Burns. Tell me about Chase Burns. I know you love Chase Burns.
Well, I know why they won 12-0. They were playing the Mets.
Well,
the Mets are terrible right now, and they have better talent. And I don't know what's wrong with the Mets. I can't figure that one out.
Who cares?
Juan Soto's sitting up there making X amount of dollars. He's a good player. I don't get it. Unless you're with the Yankees in New York, the Mets are such a mess. It's funny. It's laughable. The Mets are just terrible, and they should be much better than they are. But people think that the Reds should have been much better than they are. But they do have one. They have a couple of excuses, which I hate excuses. I'm getting to the point now in my life where excuses don't work. Injuries. The Reds have had so many injuries. Well, yes, they have. But other teams have injuries too, and they survive. Now, the good thing about for the Reds, if you're going to get me on that, down that rabbit hole, is we're not through the All-Star break yet, and they're still, they're 3 games under 500. They've got some good pitching. If, and here's a big if Suarez gets hot, he got 2 home runs last night. He's been so streaky this year. He hasn't had a good year in mine. They were counting on him. De La Cruz goes out. They're expecting him back any day. They got lucky with J.J. Bleday, who played well here in Louisville. I liked him before he came to the Reds
last night.
Yeah.
But here the Reds go out. The Reds go out and buy him an outfielder. My gosh, we got so many outfielders in Louisville that are good. I just don't get it. Their management, their GM, I don't know about. I just don't know.
Well,
Ed?
So you got me on that hot horse.
Well, just real quick, Ed, when was the last time we talked about the Reds relying on their pitching to keep them in the pennant race?
Probably 1975 or 70. Well, no, not even then.
No.
Well,
maybe never.
Well, they have good young pitching. They've been a little beat up there. Chase Burns.
They do.
Chase Burns went to 8-1 last night, 2.01 ERA, pitched 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, and gave up 4 hits. So, Ed, we're up against the break here in just a second, so we'll let you go. Appreciate you calling on the Old Guy Show today. But
good to hear from you, buddy.
We're getting ready to get the Reds on a roll, so stay hanging on to the side of that bandwagon so you can jump back on.
The side of the way. All right, man. Thanks I appreciate you having me on.
All right, Ed. Have a good day,
for
brother.
calling, Ed.
So we'll go ahead and take that first break, Matt. You're listening to Spears Not on Sports with Buzz, Matt, and Tony today. here on the Big X. Tony, Matt, Buzz, Frank. It's Beers Not on Sports. The big guy is out today. He'll be back tomorrow if everything works out okay. So you just got to deal with us today. You heard Ed call in. You got Buzz. You got me. I'm the young guy out of that threesome.
Kids.
So, man, I mean, we make fun of us being old, but Ed had some good points on that. But it gets a little fired up when it comes to sports and money. But, okay, we're going to just hit some different things here while we're doing this. Hopefully people are texting in. If you got anything, doesn't matter what it is, football, basketball, baseball, golf, whatever, send a text in here to the Big X on the text line. That is 502-414-1450. We will talk about it. We'll say whatever you want to do. But a couple things that I wanted to hit on. Yesterday, Major League Baseball, Pete Crow Armstrong, 24 years old, was the 13th Cub to hit for the cycle. Did it against the Rockies. Well, if you're going to do it against the team, Rockies are usually. Yeah. But the Rockies scored 23 runs and only gave up like 9 the game before. But he had a home run in the first inning. He had a triple in the third inning. Then he had a double in the fifth inning. So he went home run, triple, double. So he needed a single. He got the single in the seventh inning in a tie game and got picked off first base. And they were losing at the time.
Oh, man.
And the Cubs come back, and they win 5-4. But on Saturday, he was a triple shy of the cycle against the Giants. So he almost had a cycle on Saturday and then a cycle on Monday.
So if he was playing basketball, he'd be on a heater.
A heater is a good way to put it. He's got 13 hits in his last 6 games. So Pete Crow Armstrong, I know John and I think Scoot are not the biggest fan. John is a Cubs fan, but he thinks he's too cocky. So that's an old guy again.
It ain't cocky if you back it up.
You are exactly right, man. You are exactly right. Last night, too, I watched a lot of college baseball. I haven't been watching a lot of the College World Series. I was gone on the weekend. I have been to the College World Series back in 2000. I was fortunate enough that my father was a big, huge baseball fan. He traveled to almost every stadium in the United States for Major League Baseball. He didn't get them all, but he got most of them. And he said he always wanted to go to the College World Series. So me and my 2 brothers decided to take our dad out there. It was a great trip. It is an event that if you can go to, you don't have to have Louisville or Kentucky in there. You go out there. The only difference for me and my wife every year goes, why don't you go? And I go, I went to Rosenblatt Stadium back in the day. And that's like going to Churchill Downs area, old stadium. I was set up very well by a friend, Dave Metzger, who got me into the ESPN truck. I was in there when Aaron Andrews was on the side. Oral Hershiser was doing the color. And we had such a great time. So if you ever get a chance to go out to the College World Series, it is a major event now that it's at, I think, Charles Schwab Stadium. Last night, there was a great game. I had it on the other television. I was kind of sportsed out, went to something else. Georgia loses. Number 3, Georgia loses to Oklahoma. The game was 4-3 with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Daniel Jackson, who is the player of the year in college baseball, most people don't know these names, he won the Triple Crown in the SEC with a .396 batting average, 30 home runs, and 80 RBIs. Had 2 guys on base with 2 outs and him up, and he flew out to center field, and Oklahoma puts Georgia into the losers bracket. Today's games will be West Virginia versus Troy, the big underdog, at 2 o'clock. That is an elimination game on ESPN. Georgia will play Texas, number 3 against number 6 at 8 in an elimination game. So college baseball, they've had great crowds. Whenever I've turned them on, the place is packed. But if you ever want to make a destination trip, go to the College World Series if you're a baseball fan. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people would say Omaha's the destination place, but during the College World Series, I think that's down. I want to take you back to Pete Crow Armstrong for just a minute, because I know you're a competitive player and you're a team guy, but if you were in the position where he was, where all you needed was a single to complete the cycle, if you hit the ball to the fence and it's a gapper, do you stop it first?
No, but boy, you sure think about it when you're coming around there.
Yeah,
you know, it's everybody wants a double instead of a single, but a cycle is And if you don't know what a cycle is and you're not really a baseball fan, it's a single, a double, a triple, and a home run in the same game, which is so hard to do. It's hard enough to get 4 hits in any game. So, hats off to Pete Crow Armstrong. And I guarantee you, if he would have had 2 within 3 days, nobody in Major League history would have done that. We won't even need a record book
I don't
to
think
know that.
there's but maybe 1 or 2 guys in the whole history who did 2 in their career.
And what's the most exciting play in baseball? Batting.
Most people would say the triple.
I would say the inside the park.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but that's why I said most people say the triple.
I think it's the most exciting play when the ball guy runs around the bases and they're trying to get him at home plate. So, yeah, a great thing. So, Matt, we kind of left you out. I know there's a point here or something that I want to bring up that's not baseball related. I listened to you earlier. What do you think of Tom Izzo?
I don't like him.
Me and Buzz and Ed been talking, and Matt's just been sitting over looking at his phone. I thought, I'm going to get Matt. But Matt, I'm just going to say one thing about that. And I didn't listen to, I could hear you and Michael talking. The only thing I would say in Izzo's defense is when you had the Michigan State, the trainer with the gymnastics, you've had the football coach, the issues. There's been some things going on at Michigan State, but go ahead, give us your opinion and tell us what you think about Tom Izzo.
I mean, like, growing up, I respected Tom Izzo. I never liked him because he always beat Louisville in their biggest games. Like, it was one where, like, he was kind of like the John Calipari of the Big Ten. Like, every time Louisville faced Michigan State, I was petrified, and I have multiple Elite Eight memories of losing to Tom Izzo in Michigan State. Mm-hmm. But and I respect him as a head coach. I get he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the the best to ever do it. I completely understand. My point is that just I feel like he's with John Calipari right now. He is at the stage of his career where he hates college basketball in the direction it's going so much that it almost feels like he's just doing it to get paid at this point. Anytime I ever see him, whether it's in an interview, it's on a clip after a game or anything, he's just complaining. Like he's doing is, and Michael brought up that it's the deal with the AD and the president right now. I completely understand that stuff is completely warranted. I get it. There is some weird stuff going on at Michigan State. Completely get it. But it's every time I see him. It's whether it's about college basketball, whether it's about the university, whether it's about how we're getting the players, whether it's about the G League stuff. It's just always complaining. And for me, maybe it's just because I'm young, right? Maybe it's just because I'm a younger dude. I'm just at the point where, like, and this isn't just him. Like I said, it's John Calipari, too. Before, maybe like 2 years ago, you were excited when you saw a clip of John Calipari doing an interview because you were like, oh, what off-the-wall thing is he going to say? Just like Mick Cronin. Like, we laugh at it. Like, it's ridiculous, but we laugh at it. Now it's just the point where all of these guys, I'm like, dude, if you have this big of a problem with it, stop taking the paycheck. Retire. Move on. You've done enough for college basketball. You have a legacy. Michigan State's going to revere you forever. Like, just move on if you don't like it, but don't sit here in college basketball, sign all these new contracts, and then like either adapt or move on. And it seems like neither of these guys want to do that because they understand that because of their legacy, they can almost get paid whatever they want from wherever they want. So they just use their platform to complain, and I'm just tired of hearing it.
Yeah, the other side, like Matt said, the president, Kevin Gustowicz, or whatever his name is, left to go to Clemson.
Yeah.
And Izzo I really liked him. And then Jay Batt, who just left to go 2 weeks later to UK. So things are in turmoil. But what Matt said, Buzz, I think there's really good points there because most of these older coaches have gotten out of the game. They've just gotten out of the game because it's not, I used to work with a lot of old guys when I was younger. And when they changed things, what was the first thing? They'd start complaining. Yeah. That's not the way we do it. That's not how it's been done. And it's just a cycle that when you get older and things change a lot of times and it worked the way it did, people don't want to accept change.
We do tend, I'm the oldest guy here, so we do tend to get set in our ways, but change is inevitable, and you have to adapt to change. The one thing I'll say, I agree with a lot of what you said, Matt, but the one thing I'll say about this time, Izzo's frustrated because what he considered a great institution in Michigan State University seems to be crumbling when the president and the AD leave, and the AD was only there for, what, a year?
A year.
Yeah, and he had done great things at Georgia Tech before. So when you see that happening, the passion that you have, and I lived through it in a little bit different way back when, if you go back into the 70s when everything changed here as far as public schools and court-ordered busing. The school I attended, the athletic programs pretty much collapsed. Now it's been built back up since then, but you know, when you've got that school, whether it's a rooting interest or that's where you went, whatever, and things start to fall apart, you're wondering why, what happened, but instead of sitting there and whining and cry about it, what are you going to do to build it?
That's exactly.
For me, it's such a weird situation because throughout the entire time I was growing up, even though Tom Izzo has been there since I was born, like when did he get hired in the late
95? He became the head coach. He was an assistant coach under Judd Heathcote before that. So
okay,
he's been there for a long.
I would say
time.
he's been there literally my entire life. I was born in '99, but when I was growing up, even though he'd been there for so long, I still looked at Michigan State as a football school. Like I watched them play in multiple Rose Bowls. That was back when like their rivalry with Michigan was really heated. It was a big game every year. I always knew them as a Big Ten football school, even while Tom Izzo was having his greatest years with them. It just, like I said, I get the point that he's standing up and he's saying there's something going on at this university and this, but that's been going on for over a decade now.
Yeah.
Michigan State football has been horrible since the last time they were relevant. Draymond Green played football there. So it's like he's only saying this stuff now because now it affects him. Yeah. Like now it's, now the basketball organization is having a problem. But, okay, well, you didn't care when the university was struggling with football. You didn't care when they were struggling with this. Now that it's a problem for you, now we have to complain about it. And that's my problem.
Yeah, and like we always say, guys like Jay Wright, guys like that, all got out. Coach K, they all got out because it's different. And I was listening to Jeff Walls yesterday talk about it, GM. He said, why do we need a GM when I'm in charge of getting players, getting them paid? If they stink, it's my fault. And I've heard all those arguments on that. So the world has changed, and you just got to adapt with it and try to stay a step ahead of what's actually happened. But I got a few more things. We'll get off of that. I was telling Buzz this, and I think this is one of the coolest things I've heard. On this day back in 1964, a guy named Ken Johnson was a pitcher for the Houston Colt 45s. It's the old Astros organization. They were the Colt 45s. We both know that. A guy named Ken Johnson pitched the only no-hitter in Major League history, 9-inning no-hitter, and lost the game. He had a perfect game going into the 9th inning, and somebody's going to remember this name. 1964, Pete Rose reached on an error by Johnson, the pitcher, for his perfect game. After advancing, he scored on an error by a Hall of Famer, Nellie Fox. Rose was the only base runner that they got on for the perfect game. So in 1964, when I was 1 year old, Ken Johnson pitched a no-hitter in almost a perfect game and lost the game. I just think that
and when you brought that up to me, I remembered reading it. Now, I didn't remember all the details, but I would have been, 64, so I'd have been 13, Matt. So there you go. But
great grandpa over here, huh, Matt?
Yeah. The bones creak a little bit today, but I do remember reading about that and him doing that. And I didn't remember the details. Nellie Fox was a great player for the White Sox. He was winding down his career with the Colt 45s. By the way, the Colt 45s had to change their name because the gun manufacturer Colt sued them.
It wasn't the beer?
No. It was the gun that won the West. And when they sued them, they said, well, why don't you just change your name to the Colts? And I remember reading this quote in the paper. Well, what they're going to say, bring Johnny Unitas in relief. So that tells you how old and some of the little details I remember from that. So they built the Astrodome, and of course NASA was based in
eighth wonder of the world,
Houston, and that's how they became the Astros, coming off of being the Colt 45s.
Yep. And we're hitting a few other things here. Venus and Serena Williams, who are combined 90 years old, Serena's 44, Venus is 46, have gotten a wild card into Wimbledon. They have won more Wimbledon titles together than any women, 21 titles between them, and they have won the most double titles, 6. And they will be back at Wimbledon this year. And don't count them out. We were over here talking that Serena is on that stuff. She's thinned down a whole.
Row, I think, is what she's on.
So she does those commercials. So they will both be playing together in Wimbledon. Another tidbit: Indiana will play a preseason scrimmage on October 18th against North Carolina. It will be at Gameday Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. So before the season starts, Indiana and North Carolina are going to go at it. I really like that they do these scrimmages now.
Too.
I mean, they still go play Sullivan or, Rolls Holman or something, and they're going to win by 40.
Why do they want to play at Gamebridge so bad?
I don't know.
They never have these big games at Assembly Hall.
Well, I guess because it's a preseason thing, they do it in Indy because they're not going to have season ticket holders, and then the tickets will just be up for grabs for whoever.
You can get different people coming into Indianapolis versus going to Bloomington.
I think that's why they do it.
And the big crowds.
Like, I get it during the regular season because, if you do a neutral site, then you're what's the ranking called, the system called? Like, your quad 1A abilities are higher because
RPI?
Your RPI. Like, so like your ability to be like a quad 1 game is higher because it's not away, it's not home, it's easier for you. I get that stuff. I just don't understand why the exhibition games are played at neutral sites. That makes no sense to me.
Well, I know. Listening to Kentucky fan complain, and we just saw a lot of their non-conference schedule games. Besides for a few of the big ones, are teams that people don't care. I've got friends in Louisville that give away their tickets to half the games in the preseason because they don't want to go watch it. So I think that's the only reason. Kentucky and Indiana used to play neutral site. It's not really a neutral site. This would be all Indiana fans, but I think that's why they do that, Matt. But all right, let's go ahead and take that second break. You're listening to Spears Night on Sports with Matt, Buzz, and Tony today. Back here on the Big X with Matt, Buzz, and Tony today. Like I said, John should be back tomorrow. We're doing our best to try to keep you entertained if you like old guys talking. We're like the two guys on Muppets sitting up in the top of the theater there, growling at them all the time. Before we get to the birthdays today, I got a few other things that I want to bring up. The U.S. Open is this week. Some of the odds, and I just want your guys' both opinions on this. It just blows my mind every time I look at this. You got the best golfers in the world. They're going out and playing one of the toughest golf courses in the world, and Scotty Scheffler is under 5-1 to win. He's plus 470. So basically, he's not even 5-1 to win with 150 players on the toughest golf courses in the world. Thoughts on Scotty Scheffler?
I mean, he's done things in golf in the last couple of years that really are Tiger-esque almost.
Yeah, I agree.
In that he's kind of dominated things, and sometimes it looks like he's just kind of playing with the other guys that are out there playing. But I think the great equalizer is the courses that they have for the U.S. Open because they let the rough grow extremely high, way more than you'll see at any other tournament. And just a lot of things where you've got to be pinpoint accurate with your drives and your irons. The greens will be probably lightning fast if they can make them as fast as they can, and the pin placements will be in the most difficult spots. So that's kind of an equalizer, but Scheffler certainly has dominated, and when it comes to the majors, you really can't count him out until his last putt.
Yeah, Shinnecock Hills. I'll let you talk, Matt, about that in a second. Shinnecock Hills Golf Club is a par 70, and the yardage on it is 7,440. And if you're not a golfer, that is really, really, really long.
Yeah.
And a par 70, most courses are par 72s. So I can't even imagine some of these holes. I'm looking at them. Par 4, 500 yards. Par 5, almost 600 yards. Par 4, 500 yards. I mean, when you think about that, that means if one of these guys go up and hit a 320-yard drive, they still got 180 yards to get to the green. So, Matt, your thoughts on Scotty Scheffler being such a favorite more than anything?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, he's the most consistent, best golfer we've seen, like Buzz already said it, since Tiger Woods. Like, in terms of this dude's longevity, obviously he's not old yet.
28 years old.
He has the ability to have a long, illustrious career, and be the best in the world for a really long time. The one thing about Scotty Scheffler that is different than any other best in the world, like your Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods kind of competitor, I feel like he's already getting to the point where, golf is, second or third in his life. You know what I mean?
He's a family man. He's very religious.
He's very religious. He's a big family man. And there's a thing about this tournament that makes me really nervous, is that this is not, I feel like a hot take, I fully believe that if Scotty Scheffler were to win this tournament and complete the career Grand Slam at this young of an age, he's already made so much money, it would not surprise me to see him walk away from golf.
Barry Sanders, huh?
It would not, you've already done what you want to do. You're at the mountaintops. You're one of the only, is it 5? Is Rory the 5th to ever do the career Grand Slam, or is he the 4th?
I want to say
thought he was the 5th.
I think he's the 5th. Facts are optional.
I think he's the 5th, so you'd be the 6th person to ever do it. There's no bigger prize than completing the career slam, obviously, unless you did it all in 1 year and you hit the Grand Slam. That's the only difference, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. So it worries me as a golf fan that, if he won this, what are the odds that Scotty Scheffler hangs it up?
The thing that amazes me about him as much as winning is when he plays bad, he still finds a way to get in contention. He might be.
We put him in jail and he almost won.
So, yeah. Here's some other odds for the people who are into the odds thing. Rory McIlroy is right at 10-1. John Rahm right at 11. Xander Schauffele 17. Cameron Young 21. Matt Fitzpatrick 22. Fleetwood 24. Oldberg. Everybody keeps waiting for this guy to win. He's 27-1, and DeChambeau is 30 Justin Thomas is 48-1. So there's some of your odds if you'd like to lay a wager. They also take top 5s, top 10s, guys against guys, all those good things. So let's go ahead and do birthdays, Matt.
Sorry, I got on.
All right, well, we had not had quantity last time we did, so we had quality. I don't know what we got here. Don't have many celebrity birthdays, but here's some for the Scooter Meter with Matt. Joan Van Ark. She's 83 years old. Go way back, because if you look at the ones now, it's going to scare you. She was an actress that was on Dallas and Knots Landing. Matt has no idea what Dallas and Knots Landing is, but they were huge shows that were on television.
This is one where it's actually really hard to find a picture of when she was young.
I know it. I looked them up, too.
I give her a 3.
Give her a 3. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. She actually was when she was on those shows.
Oh, yeah,
she was a pretty lady. I mean, I know we're a little chauvinistic on this show about this, but, hey, that's the way it goes. Valerie Mahaffrey, she was 70. She passed away last year. She's 71 years old. She was an Emmy winner. She was on Northern Exposure, which was a show a long time ago, and Wings, which was a show, very popular shows that were on television.
She's an interesting one. She actually looks the same as she used to, but you can tell she's a little bit older. You know what I mean?
She didn't change a whole lot.
No, she didn't change a lot. I'm right there with. I think about the same. I think she's about a 3.
All righty. Tupac Shakur, 25 years old, was unfortunately killed. He was from 1971 to 1996, rapper and an actor. Abby Elliott, 39 years old, an actress on The Bear and other shows. Abby Elliott.
Look at her up really quick. Oh, yeah, I know. She's the sister, right? Yeah, I think she's pretty. I give her 3.5.
3.5.
Right.
There we go. Diana DeGarmo, 39 years old. She's a singer and an actress on some different things. Young and the Restless, and what was that there? Oh, American Idol singer.
Give her 2.5.
All righty. And the last one on celebrities, this is how bad celebrities were today. And this is one that I like. Camilla Morrone, 29 years old, Morrone. She was on a series called Daisy Jones and the Six, which I watched, which I was a big fan of. She's been in other movies. I've seen her in other movies.
I've heard of the series.
Her stepfather is Al Pacino.
I did not. Is it really?
That might.
I didn't even know that.
I'm only looking at images,
but she has that Italian look.
One of the images, it's from people.com. It says Camilla Morrone on stepfather Al Pacino. I didn't look at the article, but that's just what the title is. I think I give her a 4. She's really pretty.
I go with a 4. Okay, so we get rid of all those non-big names. I guess Tupac was the biggest one of those. I couldn't come up with anything better.
He's still legendary from what he did. People still
alive
all the time.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of people tell you he's still alive. Him and Elvis are hanging out on an island somewhere.
He's in Brazil.
All right, sports birthdays. Rick Adelman, he just passed away recently at 79 years old. Hall of Fame coach with 5 different teams. I think his most prominent was with the Portland Trailblazers back in the day. Was a good player, too.
Yeah, he was.
They didn't even bring that up when I looked at the birthday. Rick Adelman was a good guard in the NBA for years. Ron LaFleur, there's a name for you, 78 years old, a Detroit Tiger, played for some other teams, a great base stealer.
Yes, he was.
Back in the day. He was in that era with Tim Raines, Ron LaFleur, Vince Coleman, all those guys, and that's when guys really were stealing bases back in. Didn't matter what score the game was, they were stealing.
They were stealing. Ricky Henderson, another one.
Yeah, exactly. Roberto Duran, 75 years old.
No mas.
That's exactly, took it out of my mouth. 4 different weight world champions. Yeah. And if we talked about UFC yesterday not really being the big fans. We used to watch boxing. Mm-hmm. Roberto Duran was a guy that people watch box.
They did. They just to see him because, what was it, Hands of Stone?
Hands of Stone, that's exactly right. Tree Rollins, 71 years old, played in the NBA for years with Hawks and some other teams. Tree Rollins was one of them 7-footers that played for a long time. The Ultimate Warrior, 55 years old when he passed away back in 2014. James Hellwig is his name. I guess you call professional wrestling athletes. Matt, are they wrestlers?
Yeah, I think they're athletes.
He
They
was
are
definitely an athlete.
They are. They're
Like,
actors
yeah,
and athletes.
I would give them more actors, but you have to be such in a physical shape that I kind of have to give them as like an athlete.
He actually changed his name to Warrior. His official name at the time of his death was Warrior.
And you know what's funny? I mean, it's not funny, but a lot of these guys died at an early age. Why did they die at an early age? A lot of them on steroids and taking all the stuff to juice them up to look like they
and then the beating that their bodies took.
Yes.
You know, you can say that they're scripted, acting, whatever, but when you fall off of onto the floor from 6 feet up or whatever, I don't care who you are, it's gonna hurt.
That's why the Nature Boy is an anomaly.
Oh yeah,
to me. I can't. You guys have seen that documentary, right? Where they
Yes. Oh yeah.
I
think everybody's seen it.
I'm not a huge wrestling fan, but obviously I know him and I know his legacy. I didn't know that much about him before I watched it. I was like, how is this man alive?
Yeah. A lot of those guys that lived those lives like he did. Kerry Wood, 49 years old, Cubs pitcher, really good pitcher. Had one of the strikeout records. I don't have it written down, but I know that. Justin Jefferson, my Vikings, 27 years old, one of the best receivers in football.
Yes.
Vikings need to get their back together this year, get their mojo. And I had to save this one to last. I was going down age-wise. 56 years today. He's won 6 Masters. Phil Mickelson. Phil's been in the news here lately.
Yeah.
And did you see where they banned him from the country club where he plays and practices? Inappropriately, supposedly touched an employee, and she went right to him and told him. And, I don't want to say people drink too much or people just get a little full of themselves, but, boy, when you're in the limelight, you got to be careful.
Everything you do it's under a microscope, and in today's world, just like I'm sitting here looking things up, and I know Matt looked things up on his phone or whatever, and that's the same way that people do. But the other thing is they've got that camera on the phone, and it'll just get whipped out.
I'm glad they didn't have it when I was growing up and I was a teenager. All right, let's do the Max Pack here. The Max Pack's sponsored by Chad Hennessy at Assura Max for over 25 years. If you want to get a hold of Chad, it's 502-479-4085. I picked 3 games. I think John did well last night, but I didn't write them down, so I'll tell you got them all right. He can tell you tomorrow. Only got a couple minutes here, so I better move on. Garrett Cole pitching for the Yankees tonight. I'm going to give up the 1.5 to the White Sox. That's plus 144, so I'll take the Yankees and give a 1.5. I'll take my Rangers at minus 144 to beat the Twins, just straight up. Twins beat them last night 4-2. I'm going to take the Detroit Tigers and Framber Valdez. I just screw things up. He pitched for the Astros forever, plus 134. They will beat the Astros tonight. The Tigers will. You will get good odds on that. A couple quick things before we close this down. Before I thank everybody, Dustin May for the Cardinals last night had a perfect game going into the 7th and gave up a hit. And he walked Tatis, and then Machado got a hit, and they hit in a double play, and that's how that one ended. And the other one was Ohtani. I always get the Ohtani watch. The Dodgers won 4-3. Shohei Ohtani was 0 for 4. He's hitting .298. Miguel Rojas hit a pinch hit walk-off. I want to thank Matt for producing over at Buzz. Always great when you come in.
Glad to be in.
John will be back tomorrow. You were listening to Spears Not on Sports with Matt, Buzz, and Tony. Have a great day.